Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our YouthLead Ambassadors webinar of cohort 4, cohort 3 actually. We welcome you to this webinar, which is the final in the things webinar of this cohort of ambassadors. And my name is Ephraim Bekele. I am an Atlas Core Fellow and Youth Engagement Fellow for Youth Power to Learning and Evaluation Program at Making Sense International. Today, 4 of my colleagues and 2 of our YouthLead ambassadors have joined me for this webinar. And like I mentioned before, today is very exciting because we're going to conduct the final webinar for this cohort. So on today's webinar, we will virtually travel to Kenya and Zambia to talk about the future of work and youth. The 1 billion African youth are reaching the working age within the next decade, and this requires a decent and productive employment space. But in many African countries, the majority of the workforce remains unemployed. And on today's webinar, we try to understand what skills are needed for the market, for the job market. And also, this is a great deal for youth who are listening out there and for youth-led organizations and other policymakers around it. So our speakers will provide an in-depth understanding of the dynamics of work and potential role and the potential role of different sectors can play in addressing matters related to future skills and employment opportunities. And also they will give us highlight on how to strengthen youth to recognize and take control of the changing world of work. And finally, they will also help us be enabled to identify the present and future opportunities and how young people adapt and focus to enhance the marketable skills, skills like employability skills. So welcome again, everyone. And on today's webinar, we have 60 minutes or an hour to cover everything. We will start by introducing our team members from YouthLead Ambassadors and also the YP2LE project. Then we'll share some information about YP2LE and the YouthLead Ambassadorship Program. Next, our speakers will give us an overview of the future of work skills for young people and also their own experience from Kenya and Zambia, and also the importance of entrepreneurship and soft skills for the future of work in general. So once they finish their presentations, we will open the floor for question and answer. And after that, Sarah will join me in talking about the new exciting initiative, which is our mentorship page. Then after that, I'll come back to give you some highlight on how to join YouthLead and how to benefit more from it. And with that, I'll give it to Sarah to introduce our team and give us a little bit highlights about YP2LE. Thank you.
Thanks, Ephraim. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here. Yesterday marked Global Youth Skills Day, so this is a really timely topic, and I'm excited and want to congratulate Christine and David for today's presentation. This is indeed our 10th and final YouthLead Ambassador webinar, and we're so excited to bring you together today. My name is Sarah Sladen. I'm the Senior Youth Engagement Advisor for Youth Power to Learning and Evaluation with the YouthLead team. And before we dive in, I just wanted to acknowledge our team that supports this project. Several of them are here today, Cole and Gloria supporting the webinar, Ephraim, of course, leading and supporting our YouthLead Ambassador program. But we have a full team. We are directed by Christy Scott, who directs YP2LE. If you would like to learn more about YP2LE or our team, we do invite you to visit our Making Sense International page or the YouthLead page. And you can always reach out to us if you're interested in finding out more about the work of YP2LE. Before we dive in this morning, I want to offer a little bit more information about what YP2LE is. If you're not familiar, YP2LE, Youth Power to Learning and Evaluation, is supported by Youth Power. And that's a funding, that's a source of funding from USAID for youth-focused programs for evaluation and research. And the goal of this project is to generate knowledge and promote learning about something we call positive youth development, or PYD for short. PYD is a holistic framework, and the goal is to generate knowledge and promote learning around the idea that all youth, all young people have assets that should be invested in through inclusion, through access, education, and training. The framework also promotes the idea that youth agency needs an enabling an environment. And what does that mean? That means that across the system, institutions and individuals support all aspects of young people's development. We think about youth development as a pathway, and all along the way, young people have the support they need to earn, learn, thrive, and be supported. So this includes things like strong networks. It means, like I said, supportive adults, youth-friendly services, and youth-friendly policies. So that's really been the focus of Youth Power, and a lot of what we do on YouthLead is really guided by the framework of positive youth development. I referenced YouthLead. We also have another platform called youthpower.org. This platform is really focused on organizations that are implementing youth programs and are youth-serving organizations. As you know, YouthLead is really dedicated for young change makers like yourselves. So young leaders who are working to have a positive impact in your community, who are social impact entrepreneurs, community activists, advocates, etc. Our goal is to provide you with a way to network with your peers, to access resources that can help you grow your work and grow yourself professionally. I'm going to turn it back over to Ephraim to say more about our YouthLead platform, and then I'll join you at the end, as Ephraim said, to talk more about our new mentorship initiative. But again, I want to congratulate our two YouthLead ambassadors this morning, and Ephraim and the team for getting us to this point. This is a lot of work that goes into these campaigns, and we're so excited to hear from our YouthLead ambassadors about this important topic. So thanks again, everyone, for joining. Ephraim, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for that introduction. So our vision at YouthLead started in 2018 when it was launched at the World Bank Youth Summit. YouthLead.org is a global hub for different opportunities for young people. And today it includes around 12,870 members from around the world. And this platform is a huge global hub for young people, young leaders, or youth lead organizations. And usually these young people aged between 15 and 35. And they are working on positive change to bring a positive change and impact in their communities as advocates, activists, volunteers, or entrepreneurs. So if you are a young person and you consider yourself as a change maker, you can go ahead and join the site by creating your own profile. And once you create a profile within for 8 hours, you will get approval to be a member. And once you are a member, there are many benefits which I will discuss on the next slide. So what do we offer at YouthLead.org? The first thing is network, a similar network or a peer network for your own project or work. And the second thing is resources. We have thousands of resources on the site, which you can utilize for your own use from the site. And also we have a section which is called funding. So there are many organizations that comes to the site and post funding opportunities for youth. And so that you can go ahead and apply for these opportunities. And you can also access a network, a peer network, and start a discussion group on the site, which can give you a chance to have a space for your own cause or social issues that you really care about. So webinars like today, for example, are being promoted on YouthLead. We have events section on YouthLead, which you can find different events by young people, and usually for youth in the circle. At the end of the presentation, I will come back again and show you some highlights on how to join YouthLead, YouthLead.org site. So these webinars are being led by our YouthLead ambassadors, and the picture that you are seeing on the screen right now is our current YouthLead ambassador from different parts of the world, and they have represented more than 20 countries from Africa, Asia, South and Central America, Caribbean, Eastern Europe, and Eurasia. So for this program, which is the third cohort of our YouthLead Ambassadors, about 3,000 young change makers applied for the role, and we have selected 22 young change makers as the YouthLead Ambassadors. So these amazing leaders are ambassadors who are sharing information about YouthLead with their own network, and they are increasing engagement with the YouthLead.org through different ways like discussion groups, social medias, and also by sharing the experiences like today's webinar. So like we've mentioned before, this is the 10th and final series of webinar led by YouthLead Ambassadors. And I will share more information about our new cohort, our call for the new cohort at the end of the webinar. Before I give it to Kristen and David, who are going to lead our today's webinar, I'll just give you a bio of them. So Kristen Ogola from Kenya, she's a passionate and a young person who is working on vulnerable groups to build resilient livelihoods. And she is also a Kenyan YouthLead Ambassador in the YLA East African Regional Leadership Board, Almunai. She is an executive member of Youth for Sustainable Development. She's championing meaningful youth engagement, social accountability, and inclusion for all. She's recognized as a Global Livelihoods Impact Award winner for her commitment in achieving significant impact and also contributing to ending poverty and inequality. Kristen's vision is leaving no one behind, is rooted in improving inclusion, participation, and responsiveness of the vulnerable groups in realizing the UN Agenda 2030. Welcome, Kristen, to our webinar. Our second speaker is David Watson from Zambia. He is a climate change activist, an award-winning social entrepreneur, and accountability advocate. He is the founder of the Fourth Line in Zambia, which is a youth-led social enterprise and financial supporter for African farmers. And David engages rural and small-scale farmers working in honey, beeswax, and bee venom production with vulnerable communities who are starting to get out of poverty and also reducing the alarming rates of deforestation in Zambia. So in 2019, Further Line, which is his company, won the SEED Award for Climate Smart and Eco-Inclusivity Enterprises in Africa by UNEP. So welcome also, David, welcome both of you. And with that, I wish you to enjoy the webinar, and I'll give it to Kristen to start our webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ephraim. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. As we explore the future of young people, I want us to reimagine how the future working world would be. Think about the future. What does the future working world look like from now to maybe 2050? It describes a world with new rules that will govern various systems, say the global order, such stuff as implications of the rise of Africa, Brazil, China, India, various developing countries. It also implicates the new roles in societies and economies. Think about post-COVID socializing, farms and markets. We have like liquid, superfluid markets and the new markets, the paperless markets. Think about households and individuals, how behavior has changed pre-COVID and post-COVID as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I want us to look at the drivers of future jobs. These are basically the major mega trends that drives the future of work, the evolving world of work. We have technological change. These are basically industrial revolutions which have launched society on new trajectory. Basically, it has destroyed old ways of working and seeing emergence of new ways of working, new industries, and it has come to complement the available job opportunities, and it has created more jobs than it has than distraction. And we also have social economic. This is rooted. It's divided into two sectors. We have demographics and we have the societal values. So demographics is basically the rising working group population. We have fast urbanization and the growing middle income segment. We have a big population of the youth right now in Kenya. And we also focus on societal values that contribute to how the work is evolving in terms of future world of work. So it focuses on sustainable consumption, social capital that is highly valued, and also the changing role of women in the society in terms of work-life balance and also inequality. And we look at the green economy. Right now, climate change concerns have shifted to sustainable consumption, and in the process, creating numerous jobs. We call it green jobs, green skills. And this is also, interlinked with our sustainable development goals, and they're the new development blueprint. So this shapes where development partners invest, and thus the sectors will grow in terms of looking at the future. And also we look at drivers like governance. Globalization is shaping trade investment flows, is also the global value chains determine where the jobs are, and also emergence of networked society powered by social media is creating new opportunities in the internet sector, which plays a major role in the future of work and how it evolves. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we have understanding the future of work, basically trying to get the themes of creating productive jobs, how to address the needs of individuals, especially those who are left behind, the marginalized groups, the vulnerable groups. So when you look at the global index, the number of young people is at an all-time high, particularly in Africa. According to the United Nations, around 226 million youth aged 15 to 24 live in Africa in 2015, representing nearly 20% of the Africa's population. So this makes 1/5 of the world's youth population. That's a very big population. And the world is undergoing a rapid transformation at all levels: social, economic level, environmental level, political level. So that is, it's mostly driven by major impacts of globalization, the Industrial Revolution, environmental change, economic and financial crisis as well, which results in growing inequalities, results in exclusion of so many people in terms of the developmental aspect of the community. Also, it results to extreme poverty and denial of basic human rights. And the massive evolution demonstrates for the need of innovative solutions to come up with favorable solutions to the working age population, also the youth included. So in terms of inclusion, inequality, human dignity, there's need to build skills, there's need to seek and empower, strengthen the youth, the vulnerable groups, to recognize and take control of the changing world of work in order to identify opportunities, adapt and focus on enhancing marketable skills and secure decent income, and also lead fulfilled lives. Next slide, please. So we can all see the photo of a person in an interview, and the interviewees are telling the person that the ideal candidate would have a skill set that implies to at least 3 areas that don't exist yet. I'm not sure if you have been in an interview and you're told that you don't have those kind of skills. If you have, or if you have had any experience close to it, please put it on the chat box, and we'd love to hear your experiences. So this shows that a lot of people, a lot of young people have skills, but they're not conversant with the labor market. So there's need to build skills to the youth that seek to empower and strengthen them to recognize the available labor market opportunities. You become more innovative, you embrace change, and just try to go with the disruption of the future of work. When we talk about future skills and what skills we can acquire to build skills for the future, talk of employability skills. These are skills that will get you to the job that you want, not go to a job interview and you're told that they need skills that do not exist yet. So we're looking to find ways on getting these employability skills, entrepreneurship skills. These are linked to money skills as well. So how entrepreneurial can we be to be able to secure good livelihoods for ourselves. This also is interlinked to the I'd say soft skills, the skills that you require that are not digitized, that cannot be that cannot be done by artificial intelligence. So we also have people skills. These are skills that cannot be replaced by machines. The skills that need your involvement, mental-wise, communication skills, problem-solving skills, the skills that are intangible, the soft skills. Those are the skills that are mainly targeted when we're talking of future skills, and those are skills that we need to build as youth to be able to embrace the evolving future. So problem analysis in Kenya, mostly because I'm based in Kenya, there are major challenges facing young people here, say lack of coordination between the labor industry and education system. So this leads to skill mismatch. This is where we have skills, but they do not translate to their labor requirements. And this also leads to missed opportunities of a lot of youth in Kenya. That's where you get a lot of youth are unemployed, and also lagging behind in ICT. Most people here don't really haven't embraced technology, and that translates to opportunity missed in terms of the use of internet, trying to explore opportunities in social networking. Also, the quality of training and governance. School training does not translate to the labor market requirements. Also, policies that are there in the governance system do not really translate to the training in schools that are required for the labor market. So this also leads to a big unemployment numbers for the youth as well. And inadequate information on green economy. We all know climate change is a big concern, and not a lot of people know about the climate change adaptation initiatives. A lot of people are ignorant about what's happening. So as we move to the future, this is a concern and it needs to be addressed. Yeah, the next slide is disruption is here, look beyond. It's a pictorial illustration of, the new economy that is the future economy that we have now. So you're seeing someone with a paper showing the standardized scores, but the other person is telling them, nice, but I'm afraid all our openings are non-standard. And at the back, you see innovative, someone sitting at the disrupt area, and creative. So this shows that in future, we won't have standardized way of working or standardized job descriptions. There needs to be a lot of innovation. You need to be creative enough to embrace the disruption that is there. It is not the education level of the job which predetermines disruption, but rather how routine it is. So it shows that there will be no standardized requirement when it comes to employment opportunities, and also how important it is to evolve and explore on the available opportunities, and also acquire diverse skill set for job readiness. So the next slide features how I'm building future skills in Kenya. I'll talk about the interesting facts in Kenya. So according to the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, there are about 35.7 million Kenyans. That is like 75.1% of the population, which are below 35 years of age, while 32.7 to 0.73 million live in the rural areas. So there's a big skill mismatch between education, training, and labor markets. So the youth are particularly affected by the workforce challenges, and there's need to generate enough sustainability for them. In addressing this issue, a clearer understanding is needed in a much broader structural and systemic manner. A better understanding of the very different trends that are there, the potential and expectations of the people will inform a better targeted solution. So despite the recognition of youth as a vital demographic for development, there's a perpetual implementation of various youth empowerment initiatives in Kenya, such as you have Kazi kwa Vijana, there's Youth Enterprise Development Funds, among others, which translate as solutions to the growing number of unemployment. And the challenges also, the solutions also range from finding solutions to unemployment, underemployment, and also inadequate to lack of livelihoods and motivation. Next slide. On the next slide, there's my story, how I contribute to building skills for the future. I work as a programs officer, a Youth for Sustainable Development. It's a youth-led organization it's a youth-led community-based organization in Kenya. So we majorly create knowledge and skill sharing platform on things to do with entrepreneurship and employability skills aimed at promoting sustainable approaches to secure livelihoods and economic growth. Our aim is to bring together a team of youth, a team of young people in terms of leadership, policy engagement, volunteerism, and also improve the social economic well-being of the youth in Kenya. And one of the ways we do it is to carry out research. Next slide, please. Carry out research. This is through mapping out the main priorities and opportunities in my local community. So throughout my experiences in my current project, I have a good understanding of the importance of engaging in community research to find out the root causes of, educational issues, of other social issues that hinder the youth from accessing opportunities that are available, and how one can design a needful solution towards them. I believe this is very key if we want to combat illiteracy in the communities, and also try to promote, skill building and capacity building. The next thing that I do is building human capital. Next slide, please. So training the youth in Kenya on employability and entrepreneurship skills. So through research and observation, it's also important to train individuals that can make preparation in the future of work, individuals and other stakeholders. So this is majorly because the jobs that rely on interpersonal interaction will not be replaced by machines. The interpersonal interaction is in terms of communicating, in terms of trying to solve problems, the jobs that require your mental ability. So social behavioral skills will anyway be required on these jobs, social behavioral skills. So we work to integrate learning at the institutional level and industrial practice, which equips learners with soft skills needed at work through holding trainings and such workshops. Another way we do contribute to building future skills is through creating safe spaces for the youth in the informal settlements and also the rural areas in other parts of Kenya. So what you see is one of the many examples of how my team and I strive to create safe spaces for youth in both rural and the informal settlements in Kenya. So youth come together, engage in activities, on discussions on youth unemployment, raise their voices and share their priorities for youth employability, such as employability skills, what is needed to venture into any type of business, ways of getting engaged in decision-making processes in their community, and also contribute to policy engagement. So this also is related to their interests and needs. It was of interest when one participant was discussing the role of youth in realizing SDG 8, which is on decent work and economic growth. So, and how we, the youth, can directly contribute to attaining that sustainable development goal. And the youth agreed that young people need to lead in the realization of the SDGs, and that it starts with us, the young people, taking charge of our employability lives with support from other actors. So creating a safe space for youth inspires them to embrace diversity, inspires them to embrace inclusion and fully express themselves without feeling left out. And they create an environment where there's peer-to-peer learning of youth from different cultures, different backgrounds, different ethnicity, who engage, interact, and enhance effective contribution to development. The next one is we link youth to employers, majorly signposting youth to potential employers for capacity building, skill building. So we hold frequent workshops, youth and employers all included, to decrease the mismatch between education training and labor market requirements. So we empower young people to access the employment opportunities available to them, and also the stakeholders share their needs and requirements in the labor market, and young people are also are empowered to integrate the skills to the available opportunities. The next one is experience sharing. We try to inspire youth through profiling other youth and volunteers who have achieved a milestone, share their success story, their experience, and the challenges they go through. So this supports young people to share we also support young people to share their achievement through social media, mostly use of Twitter and Facebook, and it motivates the participants to think about their life goals, to think about the job readiness skills, and how to realize them. So I want to share opportunities for youth in Kenya. Kenya is a good opportunity. Kenya has a wide, a diverse opportunity pool in terms of linking youth to secure livelihoods. It's a fintech hub. It's emerging as the world's greatest fintech hub. That's financial technology in terms of mobile money, in terms of agent banking. So a lot of innovations have come up with the youth on how to send and receive money through mobile banking. And it has really been a big innovation for Kenya and set a higher standard to the world. So Kenya is also one of the only 2 Microsoft development centers in the world. This creates a lot of opportunities for youth in the technological industry. There's creative industries in Kenya have really developed to beyond, because it turns out to be a distribution platform and online marketing for selling products, online marketing for a marketing area for marketing your skills, also getting opportunities in the creative industries. There's also funds for entrepreneurship. There's a lot of funds provided for youth for them to explore the entrepreneurship sector. There's also a big agricultural transformation. It's the heart of the economy of Kenya. For instance, the use of drones for crop monitoring, and also there's a internet exploration on enabling crop monitoring, which is being considered. And in Kenya, there's modernized services that take place. A lot of things are online. A lot of service industry have shifted to the online marketing. We have example of M-Copper solar selling power as a utility service through the internet as well. So those are a few of the many other opportunities that Kenya presents for the youth, and it's high time that the youth embrace them. And so my role as a YouthLead Ambassador, which has really enhanced my skills in terms of future skills as well, in terms of gaining soft skills. Becoming a YouthLead Ambassador has played a huge significant role to strengthening my skills and abilities, say communication, time management, networking, relationship building. I have built new networks, and also at the global level. I've also been able to be in disposal of resources and knowledge on diverse sector issues. It has taught me to be creative in terms of being innovative, in terms of projects, in terms of trying to create a solution to a specific social issue facing the youth. It has taught me also the art of teamwork, being flexible and adapting to new approaches of knowing what I want and taking action. So those are skills that if it were not for YouthLead, I wouldn't have developed and strengthened that part of my personal and professional ability. So that's that for me from Kenya. I would like to welcome my colleague to continue with sharing on what the future holds.
Thank you, Christine, for that wonderful presentation. It was really, really interesting. And thank you, Ephraim, for the wonderful introductions with the bios. So it is a well-known fact that Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest levels of poverty and unemployment in the world. Collectively, with the Global South, the situation is the same. So usually when I'm given an opportunity such as this one, to talk about unemployment, poverty, climate change, and how the three interact, I usually use the cartoon on your screen as an example. So this is a cartoon I got from the Economist magazine. So the Economist magazine has a series they call the Four Horsemen or the Apocalypse, which they basically derived from the Bible story, which talks about how diseases, famine, war, and death brings chaos on the world. But when you look at the picture, at the bottom there, you see the earth complaining that I thought it's only the four of you. Where did the fifth, horseman come from, which is, in our case, climate change. So climate change is devastating communities across the world. It is one of the leading factors of poverty and unemployment in Sub-Saharan Africa, where statistics are showing that around 10 to 12 million graduates every year enter the labor market. But unfortunately, there are no jobs to accommodate them. So the levels of employment need keep on increasing and increasing. And in order for the continent and Sub-Saharan Africa to be sustainable in particular, we need to create at least 15 million jobs. So thank you so much today for joining. I'm going to be talking about the future of work from the perspective of social entrepreneurship. Next slide. Thank you. Statistics have shown that around 40 million people in Sub-Saharan Africa live below the absolute poverty line. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic, an additional 20 million people are expected to be classified as poor by the end of the year 2021. As you can see from the cartoon I got from AfriToons, it is basically showing Africa, one side you have poverty, hunger, corruption, and so on and so forth. And on the other side, we have increasing, government debts and sustainable Chinese loans, which usually most of our governments don't disclose. And now it's putting the onus on us, the youths, which is you and me, to really go out of our way and think of sustainable solutions for our continent. Next slide. When we talk about the future of work from the perspective of social entrepreneurship, I found this cartoon again I got from AfriTools to be super exciting. So it is depicting two dogs impersonating people, of course. One, reporting to the boss, showing the company's profits, how they have increased over the years. And the cartoon quotes that if you see the profit increase and that is not getting your tail to be wagging, then nothing will. So I'm reaching out to African youths, those that have the privilege to join our conversation today. that the increasing food shortages on our continent, which we are importing about $35 billion worth of food every year, the increasing population boom, the climate crisis, if these things do not get you excited with the opportunities that they are presenting to us, then I don't know what will. So indirectly, just translating what's on that cartoon on our current setup. So the role of entrepreneurship in creating jobs for young people cannot be overemphasized. When we look at it from a social perspective, it provides opportunities for various income-generating ventures. When we look at it from an environmental perspective, it brings to light the fact that apart from being innovators, young people are going out of their way to design disruptive technologies that are creating social environmental change and positively contributing to combating climate change. And for us to be able to do this, we need to develop mechanisms that allow businesses to thrive, that allow individuals to adopt new behaviors, new skill sets that will also sustainably manage the environment. So in this perspective, social entrepreneurship brings in opportunities for growth. When you look at the emerging opportunities on the continent alone, it really needs to get you excited because of the tremendous potential that it has to enable you as an individual to grow, to be up to date with the global trends, as well as positively contribute to the overall development of our economies as a whole. Next slide. Thank you. Climate change, biodiversity preservation, and environmental emergencies are the defining issues of our time. As somebody who grew up in a rural area, in one of the most remote communities of Zambia, I have seen and experienced how the climate, which is depicting by the fourth horseman in our earlier picture, is really accelerating poverty and hunger in our communities. So it was against this background that I founded Fourth Line, a social enterprise that is working with rural and small-scale farming communities, primarily in Zambia, where we empower them with skill sets as well as income-generating opportunities through sustainable beekeeping and sustainable forest management. So on the picture there, I am addressing one of the community meetings in an area called Salujinga. So the area is at the border between Zambia, Congo, and Angola. So we've had the opportunity to really jump from one country to the next and just really bring those communities on board to really understand how climate change has impacted their livelihoods. What role can those communities play in order for them to be active players in addressing that climate change, and the various skill sets that they are lacking in order for them to positively contribute. So we have sustainably managed to positively contribute towards combating climate change through the various reforestation as well as sustainable farming practices that we've introduced, which led us to winning an award with the United Nations Environment Program. We've also pioneered social change. We have a program we call a value matching payment system, where we allow farmers to access household assets as compared to them, having to travel from their villages into the cities to buy goods such as solar lamps. We have a mechanism where we buy those things for them. Then once they produce the produce, then we exchange on a value-based system. Then we've also enabled to create various opportunities for women and youth, particularly through skills training. We train them how to manage their money, because we have had serious cases where, you train a farmer, you empower them with the serious income generating opportunities, but they are not financially literate. So we have introduced such a program so that they're able to sustainably, manage their finances and take their children to school. Next slide. One angle which we use as fourth line to positively contribute to the reshaping of the country and the continent at large, apart from empowering communities and mitigating climate change, we also do storytelling in radio and video programs where we get to have conversations with the communities we are working with in their preferred local languages, and they discuss the various challenges that they are facing, how working with us has contributed to their way of life, if any, and the possible synergies that they see for collaboration. We use these stories, to collect data, as well as the design advocacy programs and advocacy agendas, which we take to our local government in Zambia to advocate for more evidence-based policing. We've also had the privilege of being invited on various policy advocating platforms, such as the United Nations General Assembly, where we went and highlighted as well as showed the impact of climate change in these communities through video and radio stories. Next slide. Our work, like I earlier mentioned about working with communities in the Congo and Angola, our work goes beyond Zambia as a country. We've also been working with an organization in Zimbabwe called Rural Enterprise of Zimbabwe, which is basically focused on reforestation and climate action advocacy, as well as nutrition advocacy. So looking at the high levels of children stunting in the country of Zimbabwe, we partnered with Rural Enterprise to really use our storytelling initiative and our data collection initiatives to bring to light the impact that nutrition has on the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as work with communities to build their capacity to address climate change from a local perspective. Next slide. We've also engaged communities in Zimbabwe through the Rural Enterprise Program in soap making, those that are involved in livestock or farming. So we get, they collect the fat from their livestock, which they use as an ingredient in their soap making. So we have a mini factory in Harare run by my friend Richard Marco, where we have put in place initiatives for youth employment, as well as increase the income generating opportunities for those communities at the pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid, who act as suppliers of the product, of the product that we use to make this soap. Next slide. Thank you. From my engagement with YouthLead and the various advocacy platforms, I want to bring out one key element, especially to the young people, not only in Africa, but also across the world. So I want to highlight some of the things that YouthLead Zambia is doing and has been doing. As part of this initiative, YouthLead Zambia focuses on training youths in leadership. It also trains youths in business management, as well as provides linkages for them to work with various business in the country. One of my colleagues is an alumni of the YouthLead Zambia training initiative, where he was given business management skills. After that, he was linked to a company where he did his internship. And after his completion, he was able to open up his own business and positively contribute in the social entrepreneurship landscape. So I'm extending an invitation if there's anyone who is joining us on our discussion today who is not yet a member of YouthLead, that this is a platform that is going to help you grow as a change maker. I know I have grown from where I started with YouthLead a year ago to where I am now through the various training, the various linkages, and the various funding opportunities that have been provided. Thank you so much for that. I will hand over for a little bit to my colleague, Christine, to do the first part of the recommendation.
Yeah, so we come to the recommendations. We have talked about how to build skills, but the final part is what we can take away from the webinar. So I'd talk about you know, building more and concentrating more on apprenticeship, internships, volunteering opportunities. Majorly, you know, I think when you look at several youth who don't have the required skills, the required skill set that employers want or will want with the future of work, and employers have, you know, jobs but don't have employable youths who can fulfill the company requirements. So investing in apprenticeship, entrepreneurship, volunteering opportunities is a great way to go about the gap that has been created. So if you're in that category of not knowing what your future looks like, if you're in that category of confusion, a lot of youth are confused, and that's okay. So you can choose to, you know, go for apprenticeship. You can choose to go for a volunteering opportunity or an internship that will boost your skills and will give you a relevant skill set for you to fit into the job market. Also retaining talents. So to the organizations looking into changing the way of working, especially now post-pandemic, there's a lot of changes in terms of how we work. I encourage you to retain the human capital that you have, the talent that you currently have, if you can afford, of course, and look at how you can redesign the roles that make the most out of the people that you have. Focus on reskilling and upskilling initiatives for your employees. Invest in training, in innovation challenges, to be assertive in getting the current human capital to think outside the box. You know, after all, we all have room for improvement. So if you're an individual, do invest in training, do invest in educating yourself more, get to know the trending opportunities that are there, educate yourself, learn a little bit more from what you have, and I think you will fit exactly, you will fit well into, you know, the evolving world of work. And inclusivity has been a very I'd say challenging part to the employers and employees as well. You know, technology is the way to go, and as organizations and businesses, that, you know, you strategize on how to be inclusive, integrate inclusivity into your plans, look into tapping of these opportunities, be sure to include everyone. You know, think about all the possible groups that are about the visual impaired people, the hearing impaired, those with learning difficulties, just to mention a few. So inclusivity in the future of work will ensure that we stay in the course of achieving sustainable development goals. There is no achievement when we leave other people behind. Also, I'd say take advantage of the online platforms. Technology has been a really advantageous on everyone who can access internet. There's a lot of opportunities for learning. There's a lot of opportunities for growth, a lot of opportunities for making money online. You could stay at home, be online, work online, and at the end of the day, you secure a good income for yourself. So take advantage of that online platform, and also, try to partner as much as possible with the private and public partners that are at your disposal in order to, be able to evolve with the world. And we need to be keen on our mindset, because there is a lot of ignorance and demand on a lot of misinterpretation of the change that is happening. So be open-minded, have a changed mindset, and I think you will definitely take lead into diving into the future world of work.
Thank you, Christine, for that. The recommendations on my end are basically general, and they're not really targeting anyone, but they're targeting every young person from across the world. I want to highlight some of the opportunities that are in Africa, which you can take advantage of. Just like, the future of work, the skill sets keep on changing. The entrepreneurship climate across the world also keeps on changing. With this in mind, my team and I recently did a research on the potential market opportunities in the continent. And one of the key highlight which we had was that we recently learned that the Kinshasa in Congo DR is going to be one of the largest cities on the face of the earth. And it's going to be the largest French-speaking city in the world. That is just an example of how much potential this continent has. With the population boom, we are looking at over $5 trillion of a market in terms of the food and agriculture system. So I'm really inviting everyone to explore opportunities in the agri-tech, particularly those that involve the use of data to increase productivity in agriculture. Fintech, as earlier mentioned by Christine, Kenya has been one of the leading countries in Africa in terms of fintech, but we have seen recently that Nigeria and Zambia are currently following suit. So all those bring in opportunities for you to really contribute towards changing you as well as your local landscape. Last but not the least is the energy sector. As the population in Africa booms, there is need for energy, to support this population growth, to support the industries which will be providing the food and so on and so forth. So it presents an opportunity for young people to really go out of our way, innovate and design systems that are going to push our society forward, as well as enable us to be, the next Elon Musk's and Jeff Bezos of our age. I'll hand over to you, Ephraim. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, both of you. Well done. We've learned a lot, although we're a little bit against time. And thank you, Kristen. We've learned that the soft skills, which sounds like intangible, are very important. The social behavioral skills are also very important. Thank you for that one. And David, what you're doing with Fourth Line is very interesting, especially the rural enterprise project that you are conducting as an advocacy is great. Well done. Thank you very much. So we've received a lot of questions, but we don't have time actually. I'm sorry about that. So we will, David and Christine actually have a social media campaign continuing next week. So they will definitely answer the questions by then. And the link to that one will be under YouthLead. So I will go to Sarah just to give us a highlight on our new initiative, which is the mentorship page. Then I'll come back again. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Christine and David. That was an excellent presentation, and I really appreciated the questions that came through the chat box. This is a great topic. I'm just going to share very quickly a new initiative with YouthLead.org. It's under the initiatives list. It is our mentorship initiative. We have created a dedicated space on the platform where YouthLead members can find information about mentorship, engage in a discussion group on mentorship, and to start to learn about organizations and programs that are focused specifically on providing youth with mentorship services, matching opportunities, and more. We are focusing the mentorship activities around knowledge building, leadership skills, professional growth, and networking. That's really the underlying purpose behind the mentorship activity. And I talked about positive youth development at the beginning of this webinar. A key component of PYD is creating an enabling environment for youth, and mentorship is really an important piece of that puzzle. We can kind of jump through the slides, Ephraim. I know we're short on time. I do encourage you to go to the YouthLead page and start to explore what's there. This includes a library of resources focused on mentorship. You'll be able to find information about being a mentor, how you can grow and increase your mentorship skills, about how to find mentors, focusing on really creating healthy relationships with mentors, networking, and how do you find someone who can help you in your own professional and personal pathway. We also have resources focused on building your knowledge of mentorship, what it is, how it's applied. If you're leading an organization or program in your own country, there may be information here that's helpful to you in thinking about how to build in mentorship as a key part of your programming. And then finally, we have a list of mentorship programs, but we are looking for more information. So we really invite you as YouthLead members to share any resources that you've come across that are focused on mentorship that you have found especially helpful. And this includes if you've participated yourself in a mentorship program in your home country that you would like to have included on the platform. All languages are welcome, and there's an info email on the page where you can reach out to our team to share more. There's also a discussion group, which you can access through the mentorship initiative page. Our team is going to be supporting conversations there around professional development questions, questions specific to mentorship. We encourage you to join the discussion group and engage in conversation. And then finally, we are recruiting partners for the platform. These are YouthLead sponsors and organizations that serve young people and that have either a dedicated mentorship focus or are engaging in mentorship activities. And our goal with our partners is to work with them to provide all of you as mentors, as YouthLead members, opportunities for learning events, training, and other live activities focused on mentorship to help you build your skills. I do want to flag that on July 30th, we have our official live launch event for the mentorship initiative. You can register for that event on YouthLead under events. And this event is going to be focused on providing a closer orientation to the page. So you'll have a chance to hear from our team what's on the page, how to use it, the kinds of activities we'll be supporting. We're also going to have breakout groups in this event where we want to hear from members directly. This will be co-facilitated by our YouthLead ambassadors and YAG members. And the goal is really to identify what are some key priority topics for all of you as members around skill building, what resources would be most helpful, and are there other things that our team should be thinking about as we continue to build out the mentorship initiative. I know I just sprinted through our slides because we're so short on time, but I hope that you'll go visit the page. And if you are interested in learning more, you can reach out to our team directly, or you can also email me. I will put that in the chat just now. Thank you so much again, Christine. David, congratulations to you and to the YouthLead team for this last campaign. It's been really, really inspiring to hear from all of our ambassadors and to have the opportunity to learn so much from you over these past several months, and today's session was no exception. So thanks again, Ephraim.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. So we're a little bit short on time, actually. So I'll give a highlight. Go to the youthlead.org and you can find resources for different projects. You can also upload your own projects or local initiatives. And also there's something that's very interesting, which is the monthly YouthLead newsletter that comes to your email. That's also something that you can use, and join our social medias on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram also. So again, congratulations our YouthLead ambassadors who've conducted like 10 consecutive webinars, and it was a really great such an experience for all of us. And since the past 6 months, the YouthLead ambassadors have been working with us in the youth at the global level, and we've observed a great reach of to the youth, to the global youth actually, and improved youth networking and better coverage on those social issues. And these campaigns have been on different topics on like education, gender equality, entrepreneurship, mental health, agriculture, family planning, and reproductive health. So the webinars and campaigns have been have reached actually thousands of youth, and you can still access the recording to all the 10 webinars on the YouthLead events, which Cole will drop now the link to the chat box. So the core 3 YouthLead ambassadors will graduate on 27th of August 2021, and they will celebrate their achievement and also will learn from the whole process. And another interesting opportunity for all of you is if you're interested in serving as the next YouthLead ambassador for cohort 4, please look out for the next call under YouthLead events. And also if you have like a profile on youthlead.org, you can still get the call for ambassadors in the next few months. So thank you very much our sponsors for promoting the YouthLead to their youth networks and contributing different resources, events, and various funding opportunities. Finally, I want to say thank you very much for YP2LE team who joined me today, Sarah, Cole, Gloria, Gail, and all the YP2LE team, and our audience on both Facebook Live. We've seen a lot of audience there, and also our amazing YouthLead ambassadors who showed big support today. And also for the questions that came in today will be answered on the next social media chat. So I've seen a lot of countries actually, just to mention some: Zimbabwe, Indonesia, Uganda, Egypt, Bangladesh, Kenya, Madagascar, Cameroon, Zambia, Nigeria, Liberia, Ivory Coast, and so on. So I would invite you to go to the youthlead.org for another new round of webinars in the future, and also to access all those resources. And with that, we hope to see you next time, and we wish you to have a great time. And thank you from our side. Goodbye. Bye, everyone.